Hello, are you ready? I think we're about time. Look, it's another vaccine video, so forgive me. This is going to take a while, but I hope it's useful, so please bear with me. I'm going to try and get a lot of information out there. First of all, thank you very much for tuning in. These Tonbridge, Edenbridge and Morling videos have become a bit of a thing in my office. I hope they haven't become too much of a thing for you. I spoke last time briefly about my campaign to get a mass vaccination centre located here in our community, and I am delighted to say that we've been successful. The Angel Centre in Tonbridge is going to be our vaccination hub for West Kent, which is extremely exciting for us all, and of course very, very convenient for those of us, even those of us who live near Edenbridge. So I must say I'm very, very pleased about that. Before I talk in detail about its operation, I should just say a few thank yous to the people who've made it happen. It's fair to say that everyone wants one in their area for the very obvious reasons that it's convenient, but we were able to make a compelling case for the Angel Centre. So first, I've got to thank the Angel Centre staff. They have been amazing in making sure that they are available and getting themselves ready. And secondly, to Tonbridge and Morling Leisure Trust, who own and run the centre. They have been completely fantastic in making sure that they've entered these negotiations in a really open spirit. And I have to say I'm very, very grateful to what they've done and for letting the building be used for the next few months. Then, of course, Kent Community Health NHS Foundation Trust. If that isn't enough of a mouthful for you, I'll try and say it quicker. And the Kent and Medway Clinical Commissioning Group, Kent County Council, for their work in promoting the site too. So look, there's a huge number of people there, but I must say, really, Tonbridge and Morling Borough Council, who own the site, who really pushed this idea forward, they have just been fantastic. We worked extremely closely together to do so, and frankly, it simply wouldn't have happened without them. So a huge thank you to Nicholas Heslop and, of course, to Julie Bilby, who's the chief exec there as well. Both of them have really pulled out all the stops to make it happen. Now, the Angel Centre is the third of 4 mass vaccination centres in Kent, and it will start vaccinations next week. It won't start at full capacity, and that's because the supply of vaccine, which I've mentioned in previous videos. However, it will eventually do thousands of vaccinations every week and help to support our primary care network rollouts at Tonbridge Baptist Church. You've heard me speaking about that. Avicenna Medical Centre, you know I've mentioned them in Leybourne before, and of course the Sevenoaks Medical Centre. So the Angel Centre is an appointment only facility. Please, 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 please do not turn up expecting a vaccination on demand. You won't get it. You only book an appointment when you have received a letter from the NHS confirming you're eligible to do so. You know, because I've been through it 1,000 times, so forgive me as I repeat myself, that letters go in groups. So the priority groups at the moment are 1 to 4. That's the over 80s, the over 70s, clinically extremely vulnerable and so on. So those are the first 4 groups in line with the priorities that were identified by the Joint Committee on Vaccinations, which was set up by the government to help prioritise these according to medical need rather than just according to somebody's opinion. Now, in terms of how the Angel Centre will operate, clearly there will be a one-way system. We've all got used to this now in everything from post offices to medical centres. So there will be a one-way system in place, which will be inside the building in case of rain and cold and perhaps, you never know, even snow next week. The entrance will be at the Sports Hall fire exit by the creche, and then the queue will leave around, or rather through or by, I'm not quite sure exactly, the changing rooms before going into the sports hall. Now, with social distancing, this means that the queue will be only a maximum of about 70 people. In case it exceeds this, there will be cover all the way around to the entrance of the Angel Centre too. Now, anybody who is in the priority groups and lives within 45 minutes of the Angel Centre will receive a letter. This is almost all of our community in Tonbridge and Morling, along with a number of people in Tunbridge Wells, in Sevenoaks, parts of Maidstone and East Sussex and Surrey as well. And once you receive this letter, you can book either online or by phone, and all the details will be included with it. If you are anything like me, you'll probably find it easier to do it online. I know many of you have asked how this affects the rollout of our GP hubs, and the short answer is it doesn't. If you receive a letter, you do not have to go to the Angel Centre should you not prefer to. You can wait for your GP to call you instead. We can book there. Likewise, if your GP calls you then please do not wait for a letter inviting you to the Angel Centre unless that's really what you absolutely want to do. Personally, I'm going to go to the first place that offers me the vaccine, and I will. That's how I'll leave it. There will be some crossover when you receive the letter, though, and I do realise that this means there'll be a doubling up, but frankly, I would rather there was a doubling up than a missing out. So I know it's not perfect, but it's better than the alternative. And the reason for this is because the system the NHS uses only records you as having the vaccine once you've had the injection. It doesn't know if you've had an appointment made. And this is to make sure that we know that those people who've had appointments actually turn up to them. Although, I've got to tell you, 99% of people are doing so. So, really, to have a 99% take-up rate, I mean, frankly, that's extraordinarily high. And I must say I'm very proud of the British people for being so responsible with it. So you can, therefore, ignore the letter if this applies to you and an existing appointment has already been booked. Simply shred it and throw it away. Now, frustrating as though that may be, as I say, it's better to be contacted twice. Now, letters are going out imminently, and some of you may receive one as early as this weekend asking you to make an appointment. If you do make an appointment, then before your vaccination, you'll be asked to provide details of all medication you're on, so please do come ready with this information if it's appropriate. For anyone who has already been vaccinated at one of the GP hubs, this is where you will receive your second dose, not the Angel Centre or any other site. You will remain within the structure that you started. You must go to the same place for both doses so that your existing second dose appointment already stands. For those who do decide to use the Angel Centre, when you go online and phone up, it will give you other options as well, including the site in Gravesend, in Epsom, the Excel Centre in London, pharmacy rollouts in Sevenoaks, Bluewater, Maidstone or Ticehurst. All pharmacy rollouts operate in the same way as mass vaccination centres, giving you the option to book when the letter is received. It is your choice where you go. The whole purpose of mass vaccination centres is to ensure that we can continue the pace of the rollout by increasing the availability of sites for vaccines as we get more supply, and also as there are more people in each cohort. Now, finally, I know that a lot of people are keen to volunteer at the Angel Centre if possible. This is very much a piece of national infrastructure in our community, which is fantastic, and there will be thousands of people travelling here for their vaccines. What this also means is that arrangements relating to the organisation are also done nationally. So please go on to the NHS Volunteers website. If you haven't already done so, it's really simple. Complete your details, and I know they are keen to ensure as many local residents as possible can help out. So I know that would be very gratefully received. Now, please don't strip out the Tonbridge Baptist Church in order to support the Angel Centre, though. If you're already supporting a very, very important local resource like our Tonbridge PCN, don't just jump ship without warning. That wouldn't be helpful. Now, I hope that this information helps answer some of the questions about the Angel Centre and how it fits into the vaccination model we have. If there's anything extra, or if there's any more that I learn, then I will share it with you. But this is in addition to what we've already got. It doesn't substitute for anything. Ultimately, it means that at the heart of our community, we have the capacity for multiple sites and for all of us to be vaccinated without travelling too far. And I think that's fantastic. The other thing I was going to talk to you about was to give you a brief update on the status of vaccinations across each of our 3 GP-led sites. And I'll start with Sevenoaks again, as it was the one I was working on most recently, which is really doing very, very well. They are in a position where every over 80-year-old registered at the Borough Green Medical Practice or Edenbridge Medical Practice should have received a call. If you haven't, would you please let me know? Please don't overload the GPs. They've got 1,000 things on their plate and they're really trying to manage a very, very difficult and complex operation. So if you haven't been contacted, please let me know and I will make sure they get a concise email of those people who have been missed out. Now, anybody housebound will receive their vaccine next week or may have already had it this week. We are also in the middle of a period of almost 2 weeks of consecutive rollout of the Pfizer vaccine, which means more than 8,000 have already been administered. Now, my only disappointment, which I have raised with NHS England, is that we have not had more Oxford or AstraZeneca vaccine to the Sevenoaks Primary Care Network. This is because it would have enabled the rollout to take place at both Edenbridge and Borough Green practices, which is clearly more convenient for many, even though the operation at Sevenoaks is extremely efficient and the marshals and everybody there have done an amazing job. And that reminds me, I need to pay a huge tribute to Steve. Thank you very much. You know who you are, for all your work in coordinating the volunteers at Sevenoaks. You've been completely amazing. I'm really, really, really so proud that we have people like you in our community. Turning to Malling Primary Care Network, like Sevenoaks, they are making extremely good progress. And the only thing that will prevent them from vaccinating all of the first 4 priority groups by 15th of February will be vaccine supply. All care homes are completed, and we are currently in the middle of 350 visits to housebound patients across the area. If you are in priority groups 1 to 4 and haven't heard by the end of the next week, and of course are at one of the practices using Leybourne as its hub, please do let me know. Again, please don't call the GPs, call me, and I will make sure that we get you sorted. I should also say that I hope we're going to find a permanent resolution to the issue, which I know has affected many people in relation to the closure of Leybourne Preschool on some days at short notice. Now, I've been in touch with Leybourne Parish Council and hope that we can find a good solution before the hall is needed again in March. However, I must say to the person who thought it was a good idea to target Avicenna Medical Centre, please, what were you thinking? Seriously, I know the preschool is important, but the idea of in any way targeting the people who are trying to help so many people is really, really wrong. It's absolutely, it's not necessary. And there have been far too many aggressive comments on social media that have been brought to my attention. I hope that people will have seen the statement that Tracy Crouch and I and Malling PCN released. It's on my website. Please, I know it's a time of great tension. I know the importance of childcare. Seriously, I really do know the importance of childcare at this moment. But people are doing their best, and if there's a problem, please deal with each other kindly. There's absolutely no need for the kind of abuse we've seen in Leybourne. Now, finally, the rollout of the Tonbridge Baptist Church continues to go well, and like Malling and Sevenoaks, they are vaccinating literally thousands of people each week. Again, I hope that all priority cohorts will be complete by the end of the week as well. Now, I should pay a huge thank you to a few people who've made a real difference. And I'd just like to say thank you, first of all, to Tonbridge County Councillor Michael Payne, who's a great friend as well. So hello, Michael, who arranged for the roads and pavements of the around the Tonbridge Baptist Church to be fully gritted during the cold weather. And with the temperatures set to drop in coming days, I know he will continue to watch out for this. Clearly, there's quite a lot of people who may have difficulty getting around. That's the nature of those priority groups, who will either need cars not to slip or pavements not to be icy. So I must say I'm very grateful to him. Now, as ever, there is much more information available on my website, but I hope this latest update is helpful. By the time I next record a video, I hope to say that vaccinations have started successfully at the Angel Centre. I firmly expect that to be the case, and that our GPs have almost finished all the priority groups. But in the meantime, please do stay safe. We're up to 10 million people vaccinated in the United Kingdom, probably 10.5 actually by the time you get this, may even be 11 by the time you watch this. So look, this is a phenomenal achievement by everybody involved, by the drug companies who've given all their hard work at cost, by the NHS who has been so assiduous in delivering this, by the army that has been so important in making sure that the logistics has worked, and huge numbers of volunteers, not just across our community, but across the country, and yes, even to the government, who have been very, very good at making this happen. So just because I know who you are, to Nadeem, to Matt, to Boris, and to everybody else who has done an amazing job, I must say this is a huge, huge achievement. So well done, Kate, too. It's really quite something. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good weekend, and I'll update you soon.